Alrighty, y'all. How are we? I think it's been like 2 months. I don't know. It's been a really long time, but I'm going to just address the elephant in the room. So the way this podcast studio works, they have like I don't know, it's like a soundboard. And then normally you would just record it into like a SD card and then upload it. It's kind of a whole process. I'm not going to lie. But they must have overhauled their system or something because now you just record directly onto your computer. But I was like, girl, I don't know how to do that. I am not tech savvy. But as if I would just like deprive y'all. Oh my goodness, are you kidding me? No. So I got GarageBand on my Mac now, and that's how you're supposed to record it. So hopefully that works, but no promises on if it sounds weird because I don't know how to fix that. I could probably figure it out, but like I just haven't, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, all that aside, I hope y'all are just doing so well. It's been way too long, but I'm not gonna lie, I have been extremely busy. I've had no downtime, but that's okay. You know, things are good when they're busy. You're moving and grooving in a different way. I don't know what to tell you. But anyway, today's episode is going to be a remake. And I know, actually, some of y'all may have never even seen the original episode, but it's going to be Times I Almost Died. I only included 4 on the original episode. Baby, what? I've almost died so many times. Haven't, by the grace of God, amen, but almost several times. So, and I know like, I've had some of these stories told in isolation, so I'm going to add times on like the front, what's it called? The thumbnail? I don't know, but like just throughout the video, so that way if you're like, oh, I've heard that, I don't want to listen to that again, you can just skip to the next one. But I think we're going to go over 7 today. That is, of course, unless you don't want to rehear the story in my effervescent voice, obviously, but we're going to go ahead and jump right into the beginning. And y'all, my lore could not even wait like a day, a week. Literally since birth, there has been something going on. So I was born December 28th, okay, which is 3 days after Christmas, mind you. But this particular time in my life, you know, a whopping 3 days old, maybe, I don't know if it was the new year yet or not. Regardless, there was a blizzard going on because, you know, December. And everybody was at the house because everybody wanted to see me into the world and whatnot. And when I was born, everything was like pretty much okay, but they sent me home with like an electricity blanket. I don't really know what I needed, to be honest, but all I know is I had this blanket that I had to have that was powered by electricity, right? Pretty self-explanatory. Anyway, because there was a blizzard, the literal power went out. So basically, I couldn't live. And so naturally, everyone was flipping out, right? Because I need this blanket. What it does, I honestly don't know, but just know that it's important, okay? But, regardless, everybody's freaking out. Nobody knows what to do. And my grandma's like, give me the phone. Okay, grandma, what you gonna say? And so she calls the electrical company. I obviously don't remember seeing again that I was quite literally 3 days old. But apparently she was screaming at everybody, being a total Karen, la-da-da-da-da. But you know what? They came and they got it all fixed. So shout out to Grams. She is no longer with us, but thank you, Queen. Oh my goodness, for saving my life. She's the reason I'm here, period. But yeah, that was instance number 1. What can I say? And then instance number 2 happened a few years later. So we had a little bit of peace before the next incident. And this is, of course, when a dresser fell on top of me. These things happen, what can I say? Anyway, my sister, she was like changing or something, but she forgot like clothes. Which, first of all, how does that even make sense? I don't know. But anyway, she was like, Anna, I need you to go get my shirt or whatever. And I was like, okay, that's fine. And so I go to her room. And mind you, at this age, I was maybe like 3 or 4. So I was pretty short. And her shirt or whatever in the dresser was on the very top drawer because it's like stacked vertically. And, you know, the average person might just go get a ladder or maybe ask for help. But me, I wasn't trying to do any of that. So I start climbing, of course, being the athlete that I am. And so I get past the like first drawer, right, onto the second, my foot on top of the knob or whatever, not sturdy at all. And then, of course, I get near the top only to have the entire dresser fall on top of my body. Horrifying. And as I'm seeing it crash down, the bed ends up stopping it because it's like opposite side of the bed. And so the end of it caught the top part. And so like it didn't actually touch me, but I did watch it quite literally fall and almost kill me, which I feel like is arguably more traumatizing. I don't know. But another key detail, this was all in the dark. Why I didn't turn on the light, I don't know. Quite possibly could be that I was too short to reach the light switch, but I'll never know. And because it was in the dark, I didn't know that I could get out. I thought I was trapped. And so for maybe like 20 minutes or so, I'm just sitting underneath this dresser, contemplating my life, seeing as it almost ended. And nobody came. Nobody came for a good like 20 minutes. And then eventually I start hearing someone scream my name. And I'm like, great. They all think I'm dead. Can we not? Can we please not? What are we doing? And eventually, it was either my mom or my dad came in and was like, Anna, what are you doing? And I was like, I was just trying to get Emma a shirt. And he was like, oh, no, she has one. We're good. And I'm like, what do you mean? I risked my life and she had a shirt? What are we doing right anyway? But I lived to tell a tale. So that's always a good thing, of course. And then we have the infamous kidnapping incident. Now, this one, I feel I've told this story a lot because it is very core to who I am, I would say anyway. But for those who don't know, it was either 3rd or 4th grade. I don't remember. But anyway, we had this recess cart. And basically it has like soccer balls and basketballs and all these things, right? Okay, that you would play with at recess. And for the entire grade, the people or the teachers like picked 2 people. And so it was me and my best friend at the time. And I was like, oh, yes, girl, we got this. Put the school on our back. It is our responsibility. Ain't nobody going to recess without no jump rope. Okay, we got it. And one of the perks, at least for me, was that you got to leave specials, which is like, I'm trying to think of what they were. It's like gym, art, music, library, and computer lab or something. I don't know. But I really only liked gym. All the other ones, I was like, whatever. And so this particular day, I think I was extra excited because it was art or something. Me and art, we don't mix. I don't know what to tell you there. But regardless, this particular day, just like every other day, we're going out. We get the recess cart, we're ready to pull it across the little thing. Only this time we see a black sedan. And I'm like, wait a minute now. Why aren't you at your 9 to 5? Why aren't you in corporate America? What are we doing right now? And then I'm like, well, maybe he's just like part of the PTO. Because my dad was like the PTO president and they're always dropping off deliveries and whatnot. So I'm like, maybe he's just one of the buddies. Maybe he's one of the bros. I don't know. And so we would just walk past the car. I'm like, let's just ignore it. Well, then he decides to crack his window, his tinted window, mind you. And he was like, girls, get over here. No, thank you, actually. I'm good. And so at this point, we ditched the recess cart because we're flipping out. And we start running to the gym door and pounding on it. And our teacher looks at us like, girl, you won't have to wait outside because she's still teaching her class and we don't come in until like the kindergartners or whatever leave. And so she like kind of waves us off and we're like, no, girl, like, if you don't let us in, this is going to be the last time you see me. What are you doing right now? Please open this door. But you know who did open the door? Me in the back. Why was he having his hand on the door handle, trying to get out of the car to what I can only assume meant to pull us inside of it? Mind you, during this whole time, he never once offered us candy. He never once said he got a puppy for us to pet. Where was our incentive? You know what I mean? Like, if you're going to kidnap somebody, at least do it right. I don't know. But he starts to get out, and at this point, we're pounding even harder. And the teacher's like, are y'all insane? Like, what's going on? So she finally starts walking over to us. I'm like, girl, can we pick up the pace? The kindergartners are running laps around you. Hello? But eventually she lets us in, and we're like shaking, we're trembling, we can barely speak coherently and everything else. And she goes, where's the recess cart? Miss Girl, who cares about no recess cart? Let me tell you what's about to happen right now. And so we're flipping out. We're like, is this guy supposed to even be here? Like, we don't know what's going on, la da da. And she's like, no one's supposed to be here, right? Get inside, I'll take care of it. And I was like, yeah, okay, good. And so eventually we get back inside, we go back to class or whatever. A day passes. I don't think I told anybody, to be so real with you, which is like shocking because I never shut up. But anyway, next day passes and I get called down to the office. Now for every other person, they might be like flipping out like, oh no, what did I do wrong? The class would be going like, ooh. When I get called down to the office, oh, I'm beaming. I'm so excited. Somebody had brought me Chick-fil-A. Somebody at the front desk wants to yap with me. Maybe my dad started a whole meeting, like la da da. I don't know, but I was excited. So I'm just like skipping down there. And I see my girl Sharon at the front desk. I'm like, oh my goodness, hey girl. And she's like, hey, did you almost die yesterday? And I was like, right. Yeah, no, let me fill you in. And so I think at this point my dad shows up and was like, Anna, why didn't you tell us any of this? And I was like, well, I lived, did I not? Like, is it really an issue unless someone dies? Pause, because what? No, that's not what that means at all. But anyway, so I start telling them the whole story. Their jaws are all on the floor. And I'm like, dang, this really was kind of dramatic. I was really just like fight or flight type situation. Unfortunately for me, I have found out on numerous occasions exactly what I would do in those situations. So I guess that's actually a blessing, one would argue. I'm a fighter, but like not violence. You know what I'm saying? I just don't freeze and I don't fly away. So unless there's like a secret fourth option, I don't know. Anyway, and so they're like, well, can you tell us the exact locations? I was like, oh yeah, you want to put up them security cameras, I bet. And they're like, yeah, we need to do that like ASAP. So I tell them where it's at, and good on them for actually following through on that. I know so many schools who like give out empty promises. Not my elementary school. Stop playing. So every time we drive past it, I always make a note to be like, dang, there's a little bit of me in that school. So proud. But, you know, if God willing, my kids will not be going there. Oh my goodness, hard pass. No shade on the school. No thank you. Anyway, and then we have quite a few years, I would say, that's just like pretty peaceful. I really can't complain. Until about, I think it was either freshman or sophomore year. And at this point, we were going down to Gatlinburg for my little sister's dance nationals. And she and my older sister are both horse girls. If you're both listening to this, it's the truth. I don't know what to tell you there. Though I'd argue that they would actually be very proud of that. They love their horsies, okay? And you know what? Good on them. As for me and my brother, we like roller coasters. So when we went down there, we wanted to do Dollywood, which is an amusement park. And then they wanted to go horseback riding. So it was a horseback riding day. We get to the stables. Mind you, I'm a germaphobe, okay? I have sensory issues. I'm especially sensitive to smell, to sight, to touch especially. So I was maybe not as excited as my sisters, but you know what? I don't have beef with horses. Yes, one did bite me when I was little, but I was trying to feed it. That's not its fault. It just wanted to grub, you know what I mean? But anyway, we get there and I'm like psyching myself up. I'm like, okay, we're ready to go. Like, I'm going to ride this horse. I am a cowgirl, period. Let's go. And they bring out these horses and they're like in descending order. So I'm like, oh, my sister's probably going to get the biggest one. And then I'll probably get the next biggest. And then my little sister, you know, goes down the line. Well, no, why do I get a horse that's barely bigger than a pony? I'm like, huh? Wait a minute. And at first I'm like, you know what? Maybe I'm just being dramatic. Like, okay, maybe it's a little bit smaller, but because it's me, I'm like, oh, it's microscopic. Well, no, because his name was Lil Red. And let me tell you this, Lil Red had a whole lot of attitude. And normally I would respect that, but in this situation, it almost cost me my life and hers, mind you. But anyway, we get on the horses. I'm just like trying to pretend like my horse is adequate in size. And we start going on this trail. And we were in like a group, but I think our group was like my siblings and I were the last people in the bigger group. And like I said, my sisters are horse girls, okay? They don't want to go on the 20-minute ride or the 3-mile ride. No, we want the hour-long 5-mile ride. So we're on these horses for a while. And if you've never been horseback riding, it low-key hurts. It's not that comfortable. Like, we weren't going fast or anything, but like, I don't know. My hips were feeling some type of way when it was all over. But anyway, we're in line, and I forget the guy's name. I feel like it might have been Chad. Maybe it was Patrick. I'm going to just call him Chad. Chad's shorter. But anyway, we're riding along and Chad is like giving his little spiel as we're riding, like, oh, look to the left and you see la-da-da. Look to the right, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. But if you don't know where Gatlinburg is, it's in Tennessee, like in the Smoky Mountains, which is where we're riding. So it's really pretty and everything. You look to your right and it's like, oh, wow, look at all these mountains. Look to my left, there's a 1,000-foot drop. Oh! And like, I'm not afraid of heights. I don't mind. But when Lil Red starts riding especially close to the edge, well, now my heart is having palpitations, of course. And so I'm telling Chad, like, hey, how do you move your horse? What's going on? And he's like, in the back, pick it up, let's go. And I'm like, what do you mean? My horse has tiny legs compared to everybody else. She's trying her best. And he's like, in the back, kick the horse. And I'm like, animal brutality, that's not what I be doing, no. And he's like, kick the horse. And I'm like, Chad, can we cool off the attitude? Hello? And so I finally kicked Lil Red. And you know what? To her credit, instead of going like 0.6 miles an hour, she went 0.7. Okay, she obeyed. But I'm still going way too slow for Chad. And now I can only assume that Lil Red has just been told this her entire life because she keeps going closer and closer to the edge. And now we're at the point where her hoof or whatever is off of the cliff. It's off the cliff. And as I said, you know, you look to your left and there's like a 1,000-foot elevation drop. I'm not surviving that fall. And like, you know, I don't know if this horse was suicidal, but She was trying to take me down with her. I don't care. There was motive. There was opportunity. What's the other one? I don't know, but there was that too, okay? Means. Oh my goodness, she had all the means in the world, me being at the back of the line. No, she knew what she was doing. Shoot, maybe Chad was even part of it. I don't know. But anyway, I ended up living, period. But we get back and they take your little pictures at the end, right? And so they have all of us lined up. I kid you not. My little siblings and my older sibling are all like pretty much in line. Maybe like a little bit of a height difference just with their height and of course the horse's height. And then you see me at least 3 feet below them all. And I'm like, you know what? At least I'm not 6 feet under because I debated it. Oh my goodness. It was on the table at that point. But yeah, nope. Lives to tell the tale. So period. And Lil Red, if you're still with us, I hope that everything is great. I hope you're thriving because I know those horses are so mistreated. Like they're out there all day in the heat. Like it has to take a toll on them. But I'm trying to survive. You know what I mean? I don't know. But anyway, moving on. Next we have, hang on. What is we at? We at baby lure, dresser, kidnapping. Oh, this is instances 5 and 6. We're going to combine them together because they're pretty much similar, I would say. And these, of course, are my cancer scares. Anyway, I still have like a lot of hormonal issues, little TMI. But anyway, I just wanted to get some blood work done just to get like specifics and numbers and all that fun stuff. And so I go to like lab testing at Purdue and I'm like, you know what? Even if they don't know what's wrong, I know they have a lab. Like we can get blood drawn, everything will be fine. So I walk in, I tell them everything, tell them my medical history, all these things, right? And they go, you know what? I actually might know what's wrong with you. And I was like, no way. Okay, this was super easy. Mind you, no blood work has been done yet. And she goes, yeah, I think you have ovarian cancer. Oh, I'll say it ain't so. What do you mean? And so I look at her kind of like she's crazy. And she goes, I mean, it may not be developed now, but you're certainly at risk. And I was like, right. Okay. How about we elaborate? What? You can't just drop that and leave. You know what I mean? And so she's like, yeah, I'll put you on this pill. Hopefully things will get right. And I'm like, what do you mean things will get right? I'm trying to live. And it sounds like you're telling me I'm going to die tomorrow. What do you mean? And so I'm freaked out. And I call my provider at home. And I'm like, hey, so I was told I'm dying. Thoughts? And he's like, you know what? Why don't you come down to Indy? So that's exactly what I do. I go to the little office or whatever. And I tell him exactly what I told them. And he's like, ew, what? No, you don't have ovarian cancer. I mean, like, if nothing changes in 5 to 10 years, well, then yes, you're certainly at risk. But like, you don't have that right now. Let's cross that bridge if we come to it. And I'm like, what if we avoided the bridge altogether? What if we went in the opposite direction and just started running? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know anymore. And I was like, I guess I'm a little bit relieved, right? Because it doesn't mean I'm dying tomorrow. It's just maybe delayed 15 years. And he's like, with all that being said, I think I might know what's going on. I'm like, okay, good. Maybe this time we'll get like a solution, right? Well, no, he just thinks I have brain cancer. Right. Okay, cool. And I'm like, yeah, that's super sick, super fly. Can you tell me why you think that? And he's like, well, you might have growth on your pituitary gland. And if that's the case, that's going to affect your hormone secretion. And I'm like, of course. Duh. Why didn't I think of that? How do we know I don't have that? And he's like, well, we'll just do an MRI just to make sure everything's on the up and up. And then, fingers crossed, everything's good. And I'm like, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. What do you mean? What? Okay, cool. Sure. Schedule it, baby. And so everyone at this point is munching on turkey, munching on green beans, some sweet potato, maybe a pie or two. I'm at a medical institution. I'm in a metal machine getting my MRI done, listening to freaking Pandora with ads. I'm still not over that. I don't care. Every time I tell this story, I make sure to emphasize that because how are you a medical institution and you don't have at least, even if you're going to have Pandora, can you at least make it no ads? Because like, why are you even asking me what music I want to listen to? Because it's not going to be played. I promise you it won't. That's not how Pandora operates, okay? But anyway, so I'm in the machine. I don't even remember what I said. I think I said like Benson Boone or something. Maybe one song by him played, which honestly is fine because I don't really be listening to him anymore. But regardless, not a super fun experience. But like, at least I'm not claustrophobic because I can't imagine listening to random music that I did not request in that machine, contemplating my life, all those things. But no, it was fine. And I, of course, got a sick flick of me in my little outfit or whatever. So iconic. I didn't get to keep it, though. I think they just throw that stuff away. And I'm like, pause. This is a memory. I thought I was going to die the first time I wore this. Wait. But but whatever. Jury's still out if I have cancer or not. I'm assuming I don't, at least right now. The scan came back clear, period. So now I have pictures of my brain, which is kind of fun. But yeah, hopefully we don't get that. Hopefully cancer stays away from me. But I don't know, these things happen. Anyway, and then we have the latest instance. Shout out to my old apartment from sophomore year. We have the AC unit fiasco. Now, listen, I have no beef with Purdue. I've had a generally positive experience being here. Oh, but they need all the help in the world when it comes to housing. It's so bad, y'all. It's so bad. It's unsafe. And that's, of course, even if you get the housing. I know freshmen who are homeless. How does that work? No, how does that work? It's making no sense. And then, of course, after freshman year, you have to enter the lottery. And hopefully you win. And if not, well, you better hope there's an apartment to lease somewhere. Better hope you can afford it. Boiler up. I don't know. But anyway, this particular year, I was on an on-campus apartment. So, like, I still had all the benefits of being on campus, but I also had a kitchen, but I could also have a dining hall. It was a good, like, transition period between, like, freshman year to now being a junior. Because freshman year, I had a bougie dorm, okay? Let me be so real. The only reason I applied to the honors college was so I could have a sick dorm. And let me tell you this, it was fantastic. It was high ceilings, good location, good amenities. I was living large, okay, period. And then now I just live off campus, so I get my own kitchen and all that fun stuff. But I do have to figure out Purdue parking, which is horrifying in its own right. But you know what? We're learning, we're growing, all the things, right? Anyway, but this unit, everything from the jump was just weird. Why was there carpet in the kitchen? And I'm not talking about the floor. I'm talking about on the island. I don't know, y'all. And another thing, too, we had black mold on the shower curtain since day one. Before we arrived. What do you mean? I don't understand that. And then the way the rooms were structured, everybody had like a rectangle type room, except for me. You walk in, you see the bed, and you can't like have enough space between you and where you turn to get to the closet, unless of course you just have no waste. So trust I was in the gym every day just so I could live in my apartment. No, I'm just kidding. But like, my room was very small. She was fine, easy to keep clean, you know, to be fair. But yeah, and the apartment itself, it was functional. I was grateful to have a roof over my head. All the things, right? But it was bad. For the amount that we were paying, I was not getting my money's worth. And the biggest reason I would say was because of the AC unit. Mind you, that was not the only instance that was wrong. But we'll get there in just a second. So there's a heat wave going on in August, right? And so our AC unit breaks. The entire apartment is at least 80 degrees with the fans on. Mind you, I was sleeping in my bed with my fan, like holding my fan against me just so I could have a little bit of airflow. Could not sleep 2 hours without waking up in a pool of my own sweat. It was disgusting, okay? It was nasty. It got to the point, too, where I was taking showers probably 3 times a day in the cold water, and my body didn't even register that the water was cold because I was so hot all the time. And so one of my friends was like, oh, you guys should just come over, sleep over here. And I was like, yes, please. I don't care if I have to get up at the butt crack of dawn to be let out, whatever, early class. I don't care. And so we used to go over there, spend the night. Mind you, back at the apartment, I had 2 other roommates who stayed. The entire place flooded. The toilet flooded, and the whole room is filled with toilet water now. And then it seeps into the apartment below us. That's how we met them. That's cute. Horrifying. So genuinely horrifying. I come back to the room, there's a dehumidifier or a humidifier, I don't know. But anyway, it eventually gets resolved somewhat. There's now bubbles all over our floor. And then our toilet would break every 2 weeks. So I got real up close and personal with the maintenance man. Shout out to Austin if you're listening somehow. We was on a text basis. I would call him all the time. I don't know why they didn't just teach us how to fix our own toilet, because he was literally at our apartment at least every other week. It was bad. Eventually it just got to the point where they replaced our toilet entirely. And then it was kind of okay. But anyway, we're here to talk about the AC unit. So after it broke during the heat wave, we got a new unit, and then everything was fine after that. We were chilling. It was great. And then it gets to November, and the temperatures start dropping. We're like, okay, we need the heat on, I think. At this point, it's getting pretty chilly outside. And so I decide, no, because originally we had it set to 75, but it was still so cold. And I look at the thing, I'm like, guys, we're still in cool mode. Oh, we're so silly. So let me change it to heat mode, right? The second that I change it to heat mode, I don't know if you guys have ever played Super Mario Bros, but you know the fire suit that Mario has? You can like throw fire at like the Goombas or whatever. That's what came out of my face. Oh, repeatedly. It was so bad. And so I'm like, you know what? I don't want to be set on fire, actually. So I turn off the heat mode. And I'm like, what in the world just happened? Because now it smells like fire. I'm assuming I'm going to die. The whole place is going to burn down. And let me tell you this. If it were to set fire, the whole thing would be ablaze in 2 minutes. 2 minutes max. And we would all be dead. Ain't no way. That building was old. And so I call Austin. Who else would I call? And I'm like, hey, Pookie, we almost died. Can we fix that at all? And they're like, yeah, that's definitely not normal. How many space heaters do you need just so you have heating for the night? And I'm like, oh, you guys, so proactive. I think 2 would be sufficient. And he called me again. He's like, wait, do you have floorboard heating? I'm like, yeah, I think so. He's like, yeah, no space heaters for you. And I was like, that makes sense. Prioritize those around us. But what if those set fire too? Because at this point, we don't know the issue. So that was horrifying. But you know what? He was just trying to be efficient. I can't fault him for that. But yeah, shout out Purdue Housing. None of us died. So that was good. And then they came by. I don't think they replaced it again. They just like cleaned something. It was like, yeah, it was just backed up a little bit. And I'm like, this was a brand new unit. Huh? Okay, whatever. And so after that, we didn't have an issue. So that was good. But yeah, I think those are the main instances. But this list is ever growing. Oh my goodness. With each new day. Horrifying. Just the other month, it was probably like what? August or September? I almost got kidnapped again. Like, girl, whoever's crafting the plot of my movie, start getting more creative. Okay, we've been there, done that. What are we doing right now? Weird, no thank you. But hopefully we have a few more years of peace at least before the next instance. Should there even be another instance? You know what I mean? There doesn't have to be. But yeah, those are the main ones that come to mind. I'm sure there's more, but you know what? That's okay. But yeah, that's going to do it for today. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll catch y'all later.